You can't make this shit up. Hey, John is the best producer in the entire world. Awesome. He says, let's get the kinks out. And we got the kinks out.
That was a great transition. That was awesome.
Well, it was fun.
Yes, I like it.
Well, my son bought me a comic books yesterday, so that kind of was fun.
Graphic novels or just comic books?
They're graphic novels. They're the same thing, you know? They really are.
Yeah, true.
But they're not novels. These were just old. So he thought he was doing me a favor.
Right.
And I love it. I love the fact that he got me something special. I got 4 comic books.
Cool.
Well, now, my brother was a comic book collector. And I mean, my brother's collection, I think he created a business off of it because he had like boxes and boxes, and he's going in the Army at Air Force, and he's had to place them in storage. And I'm like,
right.
So do you want to hear why I bring this topic up, David?
Why?
Because I've never owned a comic book in my life.
Really? Never.
Nope. I always learned about these superheroes through different ways. Right? I've never read the comic books because I never know which direction to go. They're too confusing for me. And I mean, I love the pictures. I mean, I'll flip through the pictures, but I get the stories like in books or different materials now. The internet, what hero's coming up next? Because there's always somebody smarter than me out there. So you can't make this shit up. I've never owned a comic book until yesterday. And I'm Joel Hoxley, and my esteemed colleague here, David Washington.
Hello.
Oh, can you believe it?
What's that, Joel?
The next broadcast will be in 2023.
Unfreaking believable.
Oh my God.
22 has gone by so quickly, and so much has happened. It just makes your head spin.
Well, there's a lot that you wanted to talk about. So I was going to say, we just go through the year, but as I started thinking back, it went so fast.
Right.
I couldn't tell you what happened in January. Things like, when did Val Demings decide that she was going to run and all this other stuff, and then Khalid running, and we just had a rocket ship. I mean, Elon Musk got 60 rockets up this year.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, we did it. And I'm thinking, yeah, you did, but this whole year was a rocket ship.
Yeah.
Fast. Never seen it this way.
Right.
But then again, I just turned 55. So, every day I'm alive probably goes a lot quicker because I'm just happy. I'm just happy to be alive.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Oh, yeah. I got a wonderful gift, and I tried to let my friend know that I don't know who it came from. I have to be Rishi, Yeah, I got a card from Rishi.
Give me a heart attack. Like, Jesus, that's my handwriting. What the?
I was trying to play like, that's an R, So thank you, David. I am definitely going to enjoy that. If you don't know what he got me, good, because you're going to call me on no. It is a bottle of our favorite scotch.
Yes.
And Blue Label. No. Oh. Now everybody's like, oh, he bought this real good stuff. No, you got me the Black Label.
I saw the Gold Label.
Did you?
I bought it, yeah. And
What, did they have that in an open safe or something?
It was open right there on the shelf.
Man, I would have thought that you have to dial it.
Tell me about it. Maybe it was like special reserve or something. I don't know, but it said Gold Label or something like that.
The last time I was in a liquor store, I didn't even buy liquor.
Oh,
I bought a lottery ticket. Yeah. I still haven't checked it.
Are you the lone winner of the $500 million?
No, it didn't get one. It's like 600 now.
My Daisy told me that it was someone in Florida won it.
I don't know what she's.
We are friends, right, Joel?
Well, you do know if we listen. If I had won the lottery, you would be the first to know because, instead of going to Tallahassee on the 3rd for, you know,
We're going to
we're going to go get the money. We're going to go pick it up.
see, Rod. You'll be asking Joel for money for your next campaign.
I'd be like, okay, no, 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 no. Oh, let me talk to you, Frost. Now let's talk about the money you took from FTX.
Let's talk about.
Let's talk about it. Okay, before you ask me for my millions.
I'm kind of heartbroken over the, SBF and FTX and how this all rolled out. I'm a little heartbroken about it because although I haven't invested in Solana, which one of their companies, Almeida or something like that, put a lot of investment behind the crypto Solana. I was hoping to make investments. I thought it was a good opportunity.
I think everybody who wants crypto to fail is bragging, and they're happy. I think this sets it back. But those that believe in it truly believe in it. So we'll see. I mean, we don't have chips in our head yet,
Not yet.
but they know where we are at every moment, especially my wife. I mean, I'm one of those idiots. I share my location because I really don't care. Like when I'm traveling, I want them to see where I'm at. Like especially if I'm driving, my daughter, I make sure I watch her.
I agree.
When she travels,
right?
So I never turn it off. But now that when the wife gets mad at me, she, hey, he's at the bar. Hey, I just woke up and he's at the bar. What? Yeah, you weren't at the house awake listening to Jack go Jack. So this kid should be on my morning show,
right?
Because I've never seen a young person talk about poop.
Oh Lord.
And just dumb stuff like farts. He loves to talk about farts and everything. I'm like, and he doesn't shut up. The minute he gets there,
you should record him and use it like a intro or promo.
Oh, you just gave me a great idea. I'm going to record him for just all you need is an hour of it.
Lord.
If I have a whole hour, you can pick and choose what's the funniest thing he said that day. He wanted to break his tablet because they got him a brand new tablet. But there's a lot that goes into the tablet, right?
Right.
Very restricted.
Okay, yeah.
So it's very restricted.
Right.
And that's driving him crazy. And usually it's stupid internet. I'm like, it's not the internet. Like, or, I mean, he's getting, I don't understand why she gave me this stupid tablet. I'm going to break it. I'm like listening, and then all of a sudden his sister goes, but your mama paid all that money for that, and she'll be very upset if you break.
you are a stronger man to take all that.
Two different souls.
Right.
So, I mean, we talk about our lives, that we could get to this whole show. But David,
yes.
What about this? You were you brought up a couple of things that you wanted to talk about. So,
the first one that was I found very interesting, and thank you, John, for the show notes. Interesting and comical and sad all at the same time was the libs of TikTok. Issue a woman by the name of Miss Reichik, Chaya Reichik, who was doxxed and was revealed to be the creator behind Libs of TikTok, and the Libs of TikTok is a TikTok of liberals being liberals, and of course she poked some fun at them, and so there was this big dust up over that about the fact that her identity was determined, and the fact that some people call her TikTok defamatory towards the LGBTQ plus community, and also towards other liberal issues, and it's caused a little outrage. And the kicker to go along with this is the fact that after all this drama, allegedly Governor DeSantis offered her refuge in the state mansion, I guess, guest house for her.
A hideout. So
yeah.
a safe house.
A safe house, yes.
I mean, hey, governor offered you a safe house because you're so foul, I guess. I mean,
and I was
David,
intrigued.
did you actually watch any of these? Because I haven't even watched a TikTok video of this person.
TikTok is one of those rabbit holes that you go down, you go into.
Oh, they force you to look at the content because you can't just like pick your content.
Exactly.
Like I would assume that all my friends would be the stuff I get. Now, a new announcement as of yesterday, we're talking about this conversation, but every single government employee that has a cell phone must remove TikTok.
Exactly. I saw that. I saw at least in the House of Representatives that they had to remove TikTok.
Yeah, it's all government. They
of government.
Anybody with a government phone can't have TikTok.
See, and we all know it's owned by China, a Chinese company.
I don't think with all these smart people, we would have something there.
You would think.
we
got Twitter.
Twitter's become a whole new place. But TikTok, man.
But TikTok, yeah.
I have 3 TikToks that I've created.
You're really brave.
With my granddaughter. Like we went to church and I'm sitting across from her. She's teaching me how to play with it. So I film her. Sure. And now she's asking me to take it down, and I'm like, hell no.
Right.
No, I talk about how cute you are and all that.
See, I had TikTok several months ago when this past election cycle started. And I got into it. I followed certain things, and I found myself just buried in these TikToks for hours at a time.
So that's the first thing I get.
So let's start from
and everyone's putting their shit out there.
Like, I don't care that you got fired. I don't care. You know what? I got fired, laid off the week before Thanksgiving because I had my vacation scheduled, and they were doing another riff, and there was only 2 of us leaving, 2 directors.
Right.
And it was time for us to go. And I kept asking like weeks before, because there's a vibe in the office. And I'm like, hey, so when you give me my papers and how much am I getting? And my seniors director is like, well, I don't know what you're talking about. I said, fuck that shit.
But did you air this out in public?
I said, let's just get this over with, right? So they moved it up because I was going on vacation.
Right.
So I was going to get canned right after Thanksgiving. So sometimes you just can't help it.
Right. Would you have? Did you air this out in public, like what we're seeing?
No, that's what I'm saying.
This is where I'm getting with TikTok and social media in general. Is that it seems like
I would have lost my money. Listen, I would have lost my money if I had done this, because you sign you want the $75,000 because we have to buy you out, kind of thing.
Right, but do we really need to hear about stuff like that?
No, I don't.
It's like people actually feel that everything they need to say has to be heard by someone else. And another thing is that it's just very strange.
And then you swipe right, I guess you get to see all the other videos she has.
Right. It's very strange that people will come with their opinion. And what bothers me is that, okay, what are your credentials? You're telling me something about history. You're telling me something about the medical field. You're telling me something about something important. Well, what's your credentials? What gives you the standing to say anything on a particular subject? And I'll get this from, my girlfriend, from my good friends, and like, okay, and I shoot back at them like, okay, what's standing? What credentials do they have to make a comment on anything?
Okay.
And what are they saying? Is it what they're saying actual is factual?
Okay, so I have a very credible source here.
What's that?
Okay. I decided, I don't know why I did this, but I found out because I guess she did some harm to herself. And I found out she was on TikTok and she was talking about her dad.
Your granddaughter?
No.
Brand causing my mental health to be exploited for their gain. Honestly, I think it's sick that they're using a 14-year-old as a publicity tool. I also don't enjoy the assumptions on why I did what I did. No, it had nothing to do with my sexuality or my father.
Oh, good
I'm not
Lord.
suicidal, but I am experiencing some mental issues, and I'm working through it and getting the help I need.
Yeah, this is
Thank
going
you
to come
so
back
much
and
for
haunt her
this
when she's looking for a job when she's 25.
She's already been in the news. This is Cruz's daughter. She hurt herself.
So this is Cruz's daughter.
This is Cruz's daughter.
Oh
It was that
my
simple.
goodness.
It was that simple. It was that simple to get on and follow her.
Are you kidding me?
And I followed her because I just I said, whoa, because this is TikTok. I don't know nothing. I learning. I don't even know how to bring up those
How
videos. I
old
was
is
going to
she?
try to bring up the videos of my daughter, granddaughter to show you.
Right.
I can't even do that because I'm trying to figure it out.
How old is she?
She's 14. She's 14 and she did some harm to herself.
Right.
And the media started going crazy. And then people started saying, it's her sexuality. She's bisexual, this and that and everything else.
Mhm.
And she comes out live and she said, just does this one.
Oh my God.
You're talking about disclosure. She doesn't agree with her dad, which you can't
Nothing's
hold it.
private
You
anymore.
can't hold a kid accountable
Nothing's private.
to their father.
Right.
Cruz is Cruz. His daughter is not the same. She has a whole different life.
Nothing's private anymore.
But
I am-
she's sharing this stuff, and now she has to share this with us because she wants to set the story right.
Oh,
But she's the one who's created the story by being on the social media.
exactly.
So I'm off this topic, but David, I
know
do
that
some
was
things
her.
that you don't know about.
Right. Right.
I'm like, I don't get it.
I'm saddened that she felt compelled to do a TikTok and air her business at 14.
But
At
she
14,
this is the stress that these politicians put on their family. Look,
I think
the very first thing you ask
Mhm.
when the client comes in and they're desperately want to run for office.
You got the money to do it?
Yeah, that's the first question.
First question.
And then the second question is, does your family support this?
Exactly.
And if I'm not married. Does your family
Mhm.
support this? Because your family, everything's going to come out.
Right.
No, it's not. Shit, it's not going to come out anymore. I mean, we have a congressman sitting in there that lied on this. Nobody even checked him out. I just had that on my show this morning. George Santos, right? No, but
Yeah.
you usually say everything's going to come out
Exactly.
unless you're running in New York.
In opposition, the
No, opposition's too
Democrats
lazy.
failed to do their opposition.
I mean, that's
research,
true. That's
opposition
lazy.
research.
That's laziness.
Mm.
I mean, come on. Oh, David. So TikTok, a little bit of TikTok goes a long way.
Yeah,
It's-
it's going to
it's-
live forever on the internet, and I feel for.
But here's the thing. The one thing I think is TikTok in certain social media
Mhm.
shouldn't be in front of our middle schoolers. And now the
Agreed.
reason I say this, it's not anything about, it's just that's the age
Mhm.
that's critical in your I think it's the hardest age to be at. It kind of defines you. Because that's when
I'll argue
that's when
that.
I knew
Okay.
I wanted to have a relationship with politics.
Okay.
That's a
All right.
time that you're starting to say, what direction am I going to go? I'm going to go to high school next. What are my goals?
hmm
You start thinking about those things, and you also want to be popular. This is the first time you really ever got to the point where you're competing with people. This is
Right.
where bullying usually is the worst.
Okay. All right.
So, I mean, I'm not any psychoanalyst, but I do know from my experience and most people that I've discussed this with,
Right.
that is a time that you have to be very, you got to be very loving. You've got to be very caring. I mean, my granddaughter freaking goes nuts on certain things, and it's crazy. Like, I'm never like, you're talking like your dad.
Mhm.
Like, no. You don't talk to me like that. You can talk to your dad like that if he's going to let you get away with it,
Right.
but you are not going to talk to me like that.
Right. Things are being, boundaries are blurred.
Oh, I saw something.
Roles are blurred.
I saw something really cool. It says, spoil your kids, you'll raise your grandchildren.
That's exactly right.
And I'm starting to think that's, I'm
exactly
thinking
right.
that maybe I spoil my kids because they ain't going nowhere.
I look at my ex-wife, my boys, and like, yeah, that's about right. Yeah.
So,
Um, and looking at what you just showed us, Cruz's daughter and this garbage with Rychek, social media. In the beginning, I felt when things really started, moving, Snapchat, TikTok, whatever this stuff is, like, okay, I see the purpose now. But now,
wait.
I just
You
don't see
actually
it.
saw a purpose for Snapchat?
I did. Yeah, I did.
Oh, wow. Because the only thing I could think of, the only thing I would want to be immediately deleted is not appropriate to be on the internet.
When a client asked me, okay, is TikTok included, in social media outreach? And it's like, why? Really?
But that's not the age group. Listen, that is not the age group.
Mhm.
Now, I know that Anna would, we're going to talk to Anna Escamani hopefully about this
Sure.
because she does a lot of social. She
A
thinks that's-
lot. Yes.
you know,
yes,
but-
she does.
But
she
she
a great
has
presence.
that, she has that presence. And she has established this over a long period of time. What happens
She
is,
does it the right way. Yes.
what happens is you get a client and that client believes social media is the way to get the word out because it's quicker.
Mhm.
It's quicker if you got like a viral video, and you got to make sure the viral video goes your way.
Mhm.
And even then, you're not talking directly to the people in your neighborhood.
That's true.
And you come in and I'm going to make you a Facebook. No problem. I'm going to do that. I'll make you a Twitter if you want one. I mean, but you've got to be ready to use it because
Yes.
I don't feel Twitter is really a place that I can do something for a candidate.
Right.
So then you have Instagram, which Instagram is owned by Facebook. So
That's right.
really, it's kind of like,
One and the same.
let's put this up. But you saw like when I did my social on the holiday,
Yeah.
that I kind of, hey, you know what? I need a separate one for a different look on Instagram. So I did the. I thought those were sharper than the regular one, but
Yeah, the ones on Instagram.
yes.
Yeah. Yep. I saw them last night.
But
Very sharp.
this is social media I do all the time, right? This is not like, okay, I'm just going to jump into it. People get concerned when they don't see me post for a while. They kind of ask me where I am.
And what do you use social media for? I feel that with our clients, sometimes they think it's for entertainment purposes. It's like we're not here to
It's a
entertain.
communication tool.
It's communication, right? To inform.
The reason why you really don't want your kids on roadblocks and these different things because they have a chat feature.
Yeah,
And when you're chatting, you don't know who you're chatting to.
that's right.
My girlfriend and my boyfriend on online, they're totally unless I see them on video, you don't know what you're getting. And even then, who knows? We just saw some graphics today. I was talking to John.
Right.
I said, you can almost swear that this person was real. The lips were perfect.
Really?
It was so.
So it was AI generated,
Yeah.
or
He
It
was.
was computer generated.
It was computer
Computer.
generated, and I could tell
Mhm.
only because it was too perfect. So it made me look a little bit closer.
that worries me how advanced have gotten with AI and
Well, the biggest thing that people are concerned with is, you know, Donald Trump saying things that he doesn't say, or, you know, the president saying things that he didn't say, because you
Yeah.
just say, you mix it and you take and you chop
Right.
it up, and all of a sudden, and they do it so smooth. And then somebody has to come out and say, hey, you do realize that he wouldn't have said that.
right,
Like, that's totally against his character.
and the misinformation that's out there.
Oh my God. But it's good. It's good entertainment.
Yeah.
But again, the reason I use it is I met you. I can reach out to you. I know which social you're on most of the time.
right.
So, like, I know my dad's not on any social, so you know what my dad is, right? my dad, my dad doesn't want any of his identity taken. He doesn't want anything, out there. And my dad was a computer guy, right? So
Right. So he knows.
he designs buildings and roads and all this stuff on a CAD system. So
Right.
I talk about it in my book. Again, if you haven't heard yet, if you haven't enjoyed it yet, please go on Amazon and buy Bringing America Together Again.
Yes.
You will not regret it. You will not regret it. You will see everything. You can see how a book is not supposed to be put together, but it'll be entertaining. Because every time somebody asks me something and I give them an answer, I go, you know what? I would have never had to cover that subject if you read the book I gave you.
Shout out to Reverend Roy or Pastor Roy and Dr. Stewart. Hopefully you've read the book.
I hope so, because let me tell you, I really want people to understand there's a whole political system behind these things that I talked about this morning. And you were busy, I understand. You probably didn't see my show, but I bloviate. I go off topic. So you know that. Yeah,
Yes.
and you know what bloviate means now.
Yes,
But I really wanted to cover the fact that term limits, like, I am not a fan of term limits. They
Same here.
cost a lot of money.
Same here.
It takes a lot of money to take somebody out and put somebody in. But then I've applied for 2 director positions.
Correct.
Yes, I do want to be a district director. I do, because you're representing an individual up in Washington, D.C. And when he gets here, your performance makes him or her look better.
Mhm.
The way you run those offices makes that.
Without a doubt, yes.
I mean, you can make this guy or girl, this man or woman, you can make them or break them. And I think that with the things I've done over the time and being an executive director, I think that's something I would cherish.
And you make a good point. Having good leadership at that district level will make or break a congressperson. And a congressperson wants to hit the road running.
And those relationships, you can't just build those relationships.
Yes.
I mean, I have the relationships. Okay, you've made those relationships because you ran for office,
Right.
and you've gone through them. But then they all know, every time we've been together,
Mhm.
everybody knows who I am.
That's right.
And sometimes I'm introducing you for the very first time.
Mhm.
So I just, it's those people. There's almost 900 jobs listed for just the new members.
Mm.
In Washington. There's only 12 in Florida. And we have 5 brand new
Congress people.
Congress. So it was very interesting. I learned a lot. And if you ever have a chance, go to house.gov. There is so much more information there than you ever can digest. And then I wanted to know, because I was applying, I wanted to know where Frost's office was going to be. So I called up got to the switchboard, and the switchboard operator said, I'm sorry, we don't have that yet. We should be getting it very soon.
Yeah, there you
Now,
go.
I know that the house, they draw for their house office. So it's like drawing straws.
So Nancy Pelosi doesn't get to keep her speaker office.
No, she's not. She has a speaker office, and she also had an office in the building, in one of the buildings. I mean, I've literally gone past. She has
What do you mean?
She has an office in the Capitol,
Okay,
and then she has one in the House.
really? Well, as speaker, I could see that.
Yeah,
I
because
can
the
see that.
one the ones that the important one
Right.
is where she does most of her work, where the idiot sitting at the desk is.
Right.
Oh God, January 6th. I'm not going to talk about that, but I will talk about elections. Elections have consequences, and we find out what they are. So I was discussing this with you. You brought this topic up, and I don't know why you brought it up, but
Mhm.
ranked. I think you were talking about
Ranked choice voting.
rank choice voting.
And
It sounds like prank.
Yeah, it does. And I brought it up as a for discussion of what we believe in our mission, and when we talk about bringing America together, rank choice voting promotes moderation, promotes
Well, no, how does
compromise,
it? Now,
and
I'll let you
trying to
finish.
get
I'm going to let you finish,
the
but
better candidates.
I don't see how it does that.
Okay. I mean, part of the, I mean, I'm just looking at the,
No, I'm just, I
the
want
notes
you to.
that John put us. And there were arguments for the fact that it allows, more civil discourse when we're looking at or voting for particular candidates. Also, like I said before, move towards moderation, compromise.
That was on the ballot.
Ranked choice voting here in Florida,
Yeah.
or
Yeah, it was on the ballot, and
I
it
missed
got
it.
defeated.
I must have voted for it.
You probably did, but independents wanted a right to vote, so
Right.
they
Right.
came
I
out,
remember,
and
yeah.
that's exactly what you're talking about.
Right.
So
So ranked choice was
both-
on the ballot here in Florida.
yes, so
Okay.
they wanted to be a constitutional amendment to do it. Because
Yeah.
the independents feel like they're left out,
Right. That's
and
correct.
I say, good.
Mhm.
Me personally, I say, as a party guy,
Right.
right?
From
I
a
say
party
good.
perspective.
Like,
Yeah.
I should be able to pick my party member. That's why I chose a party.
Correct.
I just didn't know everybody was going to come to the party that I didn't want to party with.
And independent voters should,
Sometimes it happens.
recruit the independent, candidate that fits within their thinking.
No,
Or-
they can't, because the machine, again, the book, the machine is just too big.
That's correct.
And the machine is grassroots tied.
Mhm.
And we'll get into history. It all starts with Martin Van Buren.
Yes.
If you ever you have to have a consultant. I don't care who you are.
Right.
You need a consultant. If you're going to run for office, the biggest thing I recommend is you get a consultant. I'm not trying to take.
No argument here.
I'm not trying to have you
No argument here.
paying me money for. But I want you to understand, if you don't have that advisor, even
Mhm.
if it's a volunteer advisor, that's probably not as good. Probably just a yes man, but you need somebody who's going to check and balance. You need somebody who's going to say, you're going down the wrong path. The numbers are going the wrong way. Somebody who's got your back.
Mhm.
And that's the thing. When you have Rishi, you have his back. And he knows that you did everything. And if he doesn't feel that you did everything, then you weren't a good advisor.
Mhm.
Maribel.
Mhm.
It's like she totally, when we decided that we had to rebrand her a little bit, and I thought, oh my God, this could be a hard conversation.
Right.
And we said, I just want to soften it up. I want you to be Maribel.
Yep.
Because I don't know this Commissioner Gomez Cordero. I don't know her. I know who Maribel is.
Yep.
And that's a conversation we had. And guess what? It worked.
Yes.
It gave her a very feminine, from a masculine look to a
Yes.
feminine look. It actually wasn't just the last name. It was,
It
she
was
became human
personal.
again.
There were emotions attached to it because she is such a caring, loving person, and she brings up emotions in people that, hey, she is going to be in my corner for me, and I thought it was brilliant, and it showed the maturity in her as a candidate,
Oh,
as
yeah.
an elected.
Because she could have told me to go get bent.
Yep.
You know, I mean, who am I? I mean, she
Right.
knows who I am. I mean, I'm in everything. I'm at everything.
And the results, speak for themselves.
I think that one thing is our partnership helps our candidates, because when your candidate says something stupid, I'm the first one to say it's stupid. And my candidate says something stupid, you're the first one to say, you can't say that.
Exactly.
Like, what was it that it was just some conversation, and I don't think Rishi thought I was going to, pop in, and I just went, well, I hope you have an answer for when he turns around and says, what are you going to cut to balance the budget for that?
Right.
And he looked at it and he stopped for a minute. I said, because that's all he's going to say. If he ever shows up, that's all he's going to have to say.
That's right.
Because what you're trying to propose costs a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
And when you go down that rabbit hole, because you're going to talk about Medicaid, Medicare, or you could talk about any of these, you're going to, if you want Medicare for all,
right,
you got to pay for it.
That's right.
Right. And then the government comes in.
Mm-hmm.
Let me explain this, because this, I think, doesn't get explained because the media doesn't want details. They like sound bites.
And if you're wrong, I'll correct you.
No,
Let's hear it.
If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But the federal government allowed the states,
right, to expand
Medicaid.
Right.
Now that expansion was funded by the federal government for a period of time. And then the state takes over.
Correct.
The state of Florida has a balanced budget. The state of Florida chose not to do it.
Correct.
Now we get beat up for that. Rightfully so, somewhat.
Sure.
But the reason is we can't afford to pick up the bill when the federal government backs out.
So saying that, we can't afford to pick up the bill, despite the fact that,
in other words, those states that did it,
those with insurance, those with insurance will pick up the bill because there's so many uninsured Floridians here, and what they cost when they go to the ERs, and they cannot afford to pay the bill, we have to pay that. Or those of us who have insurance will have to pay that.
Look, I'm not
or
a fan.
A nonprofit or charity or
you
whatever.
know me. Here I go again. I'm not a fan of insurance.
Yes.
I'm not a fan of insurance. I think insurance is just a confidence booster.
Right.
It makes you do stupid things.
Right.
I mean, if you had a car and you knew that you had to, you had the responsibility of everything.
Right.
I guarantee you wouldn't drive like this, the way they do. Because the more insurance you have, I swear that that a rich person has just passed you at 100 miles an hour in that luxury car, because they're insured. They don't have to worry about it. They drive it a lot differently if they had to pay for everything.
That's true. But in healthcare, if let's say I don't have health insurance, and I have to go to the free clinic or something like that, well, there's limitations to that. Let's say, because of my age or whatever, it's time for, annual prostate exams or whatever. And, my test results say, your, prostate levels are high, but because you don't have insurance, you have to wait on a long wait list, to see someone who will volunteer his or her time to check my prostate, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, urologist. in that time, situation could be getting worse and worse. I'm visiting the ER. I'm trying my best,
Nobody's
but nature
again. This is why
takes its course.
This is why we have two different, opinions. I'm not saying we don't need insurance.
Right.
I'm
Yes.
just saying the mindset. I'm trying to paint the picture when I say that.
Mhm.
The better person becomes the one who's responsible. So that's where I'm going.
But then
I'm not fighting for Obamacare.
right.
That's not what I'm saying.
Sure.
I'm saying expanding Medicare
Mhm.
is what we're talking about. And the federal government pushing a lot of dollars towards it with a cutoff.
Mhm.
No, don't give. And then these states are going to struggle. When the federal government does cut the umbilical cord,
Mhm.
which they will,
Yes, they will.
your state better be prepared
Mhm.
to take on the bill.
I believe
Whereas-
with the aging population and more health concerns, we're going to face that regardless. We're going to face higher costs. We know that. We're going to face higher costs for hospice care.
That's not what I'm saying.
for-
But that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you're getting money to cover it.
Mhm.
When they stop paying,
Mhm.
the state's going to struggle because I don't see anybody being prepared. Which
Yeah.
governor?
Yeah, that's true.
Which governor is going to take over when it's going to be gone?
Right.
And people, I tell you, voters are stupid. Like, voters are stupid. I mean, I can prove that, and you can prove it too.
Yes.
But voters are stupid, and then they're going to have to come to this point where they're going to vote for this governor
Right.
who's going to be walking to office in the legislatures, and they're going to sit there and they're going to go, "Holy crap, we got to pay for this."
Right.
And then all of a sudden, your state suffers because you got to cut programs. You got to cut programs. You got to cut money from one place to another. The state of Florida is just simply saying, no, we're going to get there on our own. Because when we're there, we've earned it. And again, it's struggle. If you come to the state of Florida and you Medicare, it's not the same. It's a struggle.
It's definitely not the same. It is a struggle.
So I'm not.
And people
I'm
are
not,
suffering.
I'm not condoning. I'm just
Right.
saying the state chose this because there was no guarantee. And if you're not going to guarantee something,
And that's where the conservative, mindset comes from. And you could say the same with the money that Rick Scott, then Governor Scott, rejected for the high-speed rail from Orlando to Tampa. The dollars eventually will fall on the state after the federal funding was over. Same thing we're facing with, and God bless Orange County and the rest of the jurisdictions that have to deal with Brightline. That bill's coming due real soon.
they keep pushing they kick the can down the road.
And that's
States,
what
the state's been
happens.
very generous up to this point.
Yes.
And Buddy Dyer's
Woo! That's
Dyer's
gonna
very
be tough.
happy, and so is
Right. And
Jerry Demings. They're very
right.
happy right now.
Oh, yes.
because they're
They are
trying to
beholden.
do everything in their power to get people to try this. They want to eat. I need a penny extra, And then
Right.
Jerry's like, "Oh, the economy wasn't really good enough for that." People don't.
Whatever.
So transportation is just not something it's not a moneymaker.
That's right. It's not
It's not supposed to be a moneymaker.
No.
I love the people that used to call the congressman's office and complain about the Sunrail. And
Sunrail, right.
I was like, so they're complaining about Sunrail, and I'm going, you're saying it's bad management. You're talking about this. You're talking about that. Listen, it's not a business. Like, I get what you're saying,
Right.
but I'm sitting here going, public service, right? This is not a moneymaker. This is a help.
Utility.
This is supposed to be something that's helpful.
Right.
And if you used it, like the only part of Amtrak,
Mhm.
that is actually successful and actually makes money, do you know where it is?
It's in the dining car.
No, I'm not talking about the place.
Oh, the place.
It-
Is it the
Amtrak goes all
is
over
it
the nation.
Boston to New York, Maryland
You're
corridor?
close. You're close. It's in New York.
Okay,
So people from Connecticut to New York and that
There you go.
line right there,
right.
because it's hard to drive.
Exactly.
It's hard to
It's
get in
very
and hard to get
convenient.
out, you know.
Right.
So yes, it's one of the most successful parts.
Exactly.
But taking a train, that is not an easy thing. I took the train from
Mhm.
the Amtrak train from Winter Park to Deerfield Beach. And I would do this because I didn't have to drive. I didn't have to
Right.
concentrate. I could just sit there and relax. That's a long, that takes a lot longer than you ever expect. And then you have a fast train and you have a slow train, because the slow train goes all the way to Tampa and then goes over. So you just choose what you're going to
I
get.
can't wait till they build a bright line.
But I would
from
love
Orlando to Tampa.
I would love
That'd be
if more
great for
people-
business.
one thing that drives my clients crazy,
Mhm.
and I've never had one do it, but I say the very first thing you do is we take a videographer
Mhm.
and we go ride the bus.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, you got to ride the bus. If you ride the bus, you will find out that is where the people that need government are at.
we should we should do a podcast from the back of one of the buses.
And I
Really?
would. I mean, they have internet. I think they have internet now.
Do
Hey,
the
let's take the
circular-
no. Let's take the free one.
Yeah, right. The
Yeah, let's take the
circular
free one, which is
downtown.
designed for the lawyers and the
lawyers,
doctors.
exactly. And they're not even on there.
They're not even on it because they've driven their like $100,000 car. Oh, to be rich.
No, we should. We should with the city elections coming up too. We should.
Anybody wins the mega, please give me a call, because I'll be your best friend, because I got a lot of politicians I can help you. No, yeah, I said that, but I told you earlier I wouldn't give them a dime.
Yep.
But yeah, I think it's fun. But now let's get back to it. So ranked.
Mhm.
So we get to ranked.
Mhm.
Can you explain to our viewer how that works?
So with ranked choice voting, there is, say, a pool of not voters, candidates. And when voters go into the voting booth, they rank from, say, 1 to 5, 1 being their first choice, 2 being the second choice, 3 being so forth and so on. And so when you do that, you rank your preference. Okay, Bob Jones is my number 1 preference. Number 2 is Mary Sue. Number 3 is Jimmy Dean, whatever. And so when the ballots are tallied, if someone who does not have a clear majority of the votes,
Well, no, I don't think it's the majority. I think the top 2 advance, because this is a primary thing.
I think for different states.
Yeah, but this is the
but
way.
but let's go with that.
the way it
that
is
different- that
The
example.
last 2, the 2 that get the highest
Mhm.
ranking
Mhm.
go into the general election, because they don't want
See,
a ton of candidates in the general election. This is a primary tool.
I don't know. I think there's different
I wouldn't
variations
do
of
it.
this.
I wouldn't see it.
Let me read what it says.
I wouldn't see that as a general election.
Here's how it works. Okay. So voters rank candidates on their ballots in order of preference. Just like you rank favorite movies and foods, voters rank the candidates or not. It's up to you. Voters can choose to vote for only one candidate as well. Now you're counting the votes. First place votes are counted. If no candidate receives a majority of the first place votes, the election moves to an instant runoff. In the runoff, the candidate with the lowest amount of first place votes is eliminated.
It's a
Right.
general election. No.
Voters who selected the eliminated candidate as their first choice have their second place votes tallied and added to that candidate's totals.
And that's exactly what I'm
So,
saying. It's
But then determining the winner at the point that one candidate gets above 50% of the vote, they are considered the winner of the election. Thank you,
yes.
John, for those
No.
notes.
I get it.
Yeah.
But there's always going to be a runoff. Unless you have somebody, unless you have a
Right.
superstar governor, or,
Right.
hey,
Right.
the governor's
And
going to
that
win.
happens,
The,
right.
the governor's going to win like 60%. Okay, there's not any competition there. But think about it.
Well,
Think about Republicans and Democrats.
When you say a runoff, wait a second. If
A runoff,
let's say in that August election, everyone is in the same pool, and so you do your preference, and then there is no candidate that receives a clear majority of the first place votes.
again, when you're doing it,
So
in
then you
August,
eliminate,
Right.
and you eliminate.
You're doing it in August,
Right.
So you're doing it prior to the general, because I'm sure the runoff, which is your general election,
Mhm.
is the next election in November.
Right. We could eliminate the primary
The
altogether,
primary,
right?
the primary goes away. It has to, because Republicans, Democrats, Independents, Green Party, everybody's on the same ballot, and they're all trying to get to the top.
So why have a primary if
You
everyone
wouldn't have a
if it-
primary. That's
right.
what I'm saying. This is-
Okay, so we agree. Yeah,
this
right.
is- I'm
so there'll
saying-
be one election.
Right, one election.
I chose
but this
the
is
primary because it's just the
No, it's
first
a-
election.
it's
so
basically
just
a
go with
primary.
it. Right. Right.
know,
Exactly.
and if you win the majority,
None.
you don't have to go to the general election.
Right. I think we can eliminate the primary and
But
just
I-
have ranked choice in the
It won't
in
work.
one election.
It won't work because
Why?
just like ghost candidates, all I have to do,
follow.
okay, I'm in the state of Florida.
Correct.
All I need to do in the state of Florida
Mhm.
is get 10 Democrats on the ticket.
Okay.
Maybe you'll now split your vote 10 ways.
Okay.
And I'm the only one. You try to talk a Republican into getting on that ticket. I've won. I've won by just sheer numbers, by putting people on the ballot,
Right.
because then I split the vote. And then the Democrats going to do the same thing. So if you have 5 Republicans, you have
Right.
5 Democrats, everybody's going to try to get on this thing.
Exactly.
So you're never going to have a majority.
That's true.
And you're
More
going to
cases
end
than
up
none.
you're going to end up most of the time, unless you do it really well, the same party at the top of the ticket. The Democrats would lose. So the Democrats would lose,
Okay.
and they would lose every single time, even worse than they
Here in
lose now
Florida.
here in Florida. And it would be 2 Republicans. It would most likely end up being 2 Republicans at the top of the ticket. That's happening in California. Most of the time, Republicans don't get a choice, don't have a choice that makes it to the top, because it's
Right.
simple. Just put people on the ballot, split their vote. And Republicans, man, in California, they
Right.
all think they can beat. Listen, Donald Trump gets impeached. And every single Republican thought that every single
But that's
Republican-
different from ranked choice, though.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying
I don't think necessarily
Everybody
that
thinks-
the Democrats were. A lot depends on the education, the outreach, and the persuasion of the voter. And what we saw in this past election here in Florida, the Democrats shat
Oh
themselves.
no, I'm not even talking about this last election.
No, I'm just using that as an
So I'm
example.
gonna use my
But if
example.
let's say if we had, let's say in Richie's campaign, or no, we do kind of do a ranked choice in a way with our nonpartisan. I mean, it's not ranked choice, but
Nonpartisan races, that's a different story.
right.
but-
It's close to ranked choice as we get. But
Right.
let's say
Because the media is not
in the
gonna let it
House
happen.
District 35 race, for instance, or we had Richie, Tom, Tatiana, and then we had Fred, Diane, and then the other gentleman.
Well, you had a balance on that one. That's
Right.
unusual.
And right, so it was the onus was on the campaigns to get out their particular vote. And so the better campaign, the better voter outreach determines who's going to be at the top of
Right, but-
who's going to get the majority of those votes.
But if the Democrats come out
Mhm.
and they vote for Rishi
Mhm.
and they vote for such an easy name, I keep forgetting it. The guy that ran against him.
Fred
No,
Hawkins?
no, not
Oh,
that.
Tom King.
Tom King.
Mhm.
What happens is the Democrats come out
Mhm.
and the Republicans split their vote, and the Democrats are voting. They're not voting for Tatiana. They're just voting for Rishi and Tom, and they outnumber the Republicans. Guess what happens?
The Republican wins.
No,
Wait. They split their vote.
no.
Now you
The
got me
Republicans
confused.
have three candidates. You have
Correct.
three candidates.
Right. There's-
Tatiana's not really playing into this.
But
thing.
she's still in the mix.
Yeah, but she's not getting the vote.
Right.
We know she didn't get the vote.
Right.
Diane didn't get the vote,
Correct.
and the other person didn't get the vote.
Right.
But if they worked hard, your two candidates could have ended up being Rishi and Tom.
That's
That's
correct.
what I'm saying. So the
Right.
top of the ticket ends up being
But like you said, the key is if those two campaigns worked at campaigning and getting
no.
their
I'm,
vote
I'm
out,
just saying.
of course, the onus is on, again, on the campaign to get their message out, to persuade, to inform, blah, 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 blah.
right. And now you know how you know how these things are designed, right?
Yes, I do.
So we already know that over here in 10, even though we had all those Republicans, we have all those Democrats, it still would have ended up the same way.
Right. But 10 is different from 35.
I'm saying 10, I'm talking about Congressional District 10.
Okay, then let's use that example. So you get all the Democrats in that race, and you had what? Oh my God, you had a ton of Republicans.
Right. Again, balanced.
We could have had a different turnout, a different what's the word I'm looking for? Result.
Because if you look at it, Frost and the second Democrat actually had more votes
That's correct.
than the top Republican. The Republican didn't, the winning Republican,
Right.
Wimbish, did not have enough votes to be
And see, right,
to
right, right.
be on the ballot.
Exactly. And it would have been
But
Democrat.
we know it's a
But you know
Democrat.
some-
We know
but
it's
you
a
know
Democrat
something?
going to come out of there.
But you know something? Perhaps Twee or Lee would have made strides, and this is so hypothetical,
Because
would have made strides to kind of bridge,
They
to
needed-
compromise.
they would
to be
need
a more
Democrats.
moderate
They would have
candidate.
needed Democrats to vote for them.
Right.
And there was no way Twee or
I
Twan
don't, I
could.
don't,
I don't think they could have pulled anybody.
I didn't-
I don't think there's enough. There's not enough. The
I don't
numbers
think.
sheerly just
wait,
don't go.
okay. Yes.
There's not enough Republicans.
Yes, that's true. However, I think we could get to that point eventually.
Well, maybe. But
When it's based on not necessarily your party affiliation, but you as a candidate and what you
I'm
bring.
just saying it would never. The problem with getting it
It
passed.
never is very
no.
absolute.
The problem with getting it passed
Mhm.
is exactly what happened. The only thing that Wes and Charles,
Mhm.
if you don't know who that is, that's the Republican and the Democrat chairs,
Former chairs.
former chairs. Yeah. They agreed on it. Both campaigns were against that passing.
Mhm.
And only people voting for it are the independents.
Right.
There's no way. It's just so hard.
Did the parties actually? I didn't see any type of marketing or advertising. The parties voting
Oh,
no on that.
if you go back,
I did not pay
listen,
attention to
if
those
you go
sample
back,
ballots
let's do
and
this.
slate
This is
cards.
this. We're out of time, but I say this. Let's move this conversation to let's look at it.
Yeah, we'll
Because
put it
you're-
on our list of
We'll
future
try
topics.
to get the we're gonna try to get the what do you call it, the guides, right, that were put out,
Right, we have them, and
and you'll see which amendments that were supported
Mhm.
and not supported. And that one, you'll see the Democrats and the Republicans both supported down, eliminate.
And let's get someone in who's somewhat of an expert on this, and be part of the conversation. On
Oh,
our guest
absolutely.
list,
I mean,
on our,
we'll just reach out to our supervisor of elections. Maybe both of them. Maybe we can have both of them in.
I like that,
That would be nice.
Mr. Anderson and Mr. Cowles.
That way we have both parties represented and we can talk about it.
I like that.
Okay, so we have not decided, we have not saved the world today. We have not agreed on everything today, which is some days David got me agreeing with everything, and then some days I have the other way. But you know what? We appreciate you tuning in.
Yes, we do.
All one of you.
They
No.
wait for the recording later.
Yeah. We love you. We want you to have a wonderful new year.
And-
2023 is around the corner.
And we want you to be a part of this, moving forward and grow our listener viewership, our community. There's so many great things ahead, and we want to make sure that as many people are aware of them and involved. So please spread the word about you can't make this shit up. The Morning Poop, the David Washington Show, everything that we do. Look us up on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Facebook. Did I say Facebook already?
You said Facebook.
Yeah, LinkedIn.
Let's just say everywhere but everywhere but TikTok.
Yeah.
We're not going on. We're not.
Yeah.
There's no Snapchat for us.
No Snapchat.
We don't have Congressman Weiner.
No.
I mean, he's not that kind. That's Snapchat's for.
I like to see a bigger presence for us on LinkedIn. I believe LinkedIn and YouTube are the places.
No, I
in the
like
future.
LinkedIn. I think that's the place where we're talking to
Mhm.
people that are actually going to pay attention.
Exactly.
So, and then the up and coming, you got to be ready for the business owners out there. Be
Mhm.
ready for the Influence Club,
It's coming.
because it's not the Citrus Club. It's not the Capitol Hill Club.
No.
It's a club designed for the small business owner. You guys deserve to be treated a little bit better
I agree.
than what you get. Okay, so unfortunately, I am 15 minutes late, but that doesn't matter. I have a lead foot. So let's take this thing to the end. Thank you.
Thank you. Please like, share, hit the notification button.
Subscribe.
There you go.
Thank you.